Hi everyone, welcome to the tutorials Open Source 101. Today we are going to look at how to navigate or work with HDFS file system and what are the various commands which can be used by the developer, right, in his day-to-day development cycle. So here I am on the Linux box with HDFS Hadoop installed, and so let's get started. So if you just enter Hadoop on the shell, it gives out some options. Like it says, there is something called FS if you want to work with the file system, I mean Hadoop file system or HDFS file system. Then there's something called version, and there are different options. So Hadoop version is going to give what version of Hadoop you are using. So here you can see I'm using Hadoop 2.0 along with the CDH 440. Now let's see what are the options, different options that are available to navigate HDFS. So I assume that most of the people watching this video, they have some idea of Linux commands like make directory, remove directory, move, cat, copy, tail, etc. So most of these commands are supported with Hadoop command, but not everything. So we are going to see what options are supported and what not. So you have to just say Hadoop space FS, and it's going to give out what are the different options available or commands that are being supported. Okay, so here you can see it says that okay, I can support cat, change group, change mode, change ownership, and some new commands like copy from local, copy to local, and something like copy disk usage. So you can use expunge if you want to delete or empty the trash of HDFS. And there's something called as get and put, right, and move, tail, etc. So you can let's see how you can list the contents of HDFS. So I can say Hadoop fs-ls. So as you can see, I have not specified any path, and by default this command is going to fetch all the files and directories that are present under /user/Cloudera in my HDFS. So instead of this, you can also specify Hadoop fs-ls space /user/Cloudera, right? So the output will be the same, but in this command you are going to see that extra the complete path along with the file and directories. So all these Hadoop commands are going to take some time because these are Java wrappers on top of your Linux commands. Right, so here you can see the output is the same. So here the only thing is it's appending the complete path. So you can also do this, or you can say Hadoop DFS, which stands for distributed file system. So there will not be any change to the output that's going to be thrown out on the terminal. So one important thing is here you can see that it says deprecated. Use of this script to execute HDFS command is deprecated, right? So Hadoop is an older version. So all the new versions of Hadoop, they ship with something called as HDFS command, but obviously there's a backward compatibility, and they also support a Hadoop command. I'm also going to show you how to use the HDFS command. Instead of Hadoop, just say HDFS, DFS and -ls. So as you can see the output, there is no change in the output. So I'm going to use only one command, either HDFS or Hadoop, so that I don't confuse all of you who are watching this video. So let's go ahead and create a directory in HDFS. I'm going to say Hadoop DFS -mkdir, and I can just say examples. So again, you don't have to list that complete path, right? /user /cloudera and /examples. So by default, this command is going to create that directory under /user /cloudera. Right. So let's see if the directory has been created. -ls and examples. So this location would be empty because we have not copied any files into that, right? So now let's try to put some files into this directory. So I have created one file called temp words, and this is the content. This is HDFS demo, and I'm going to copy this file into this location of HDFS, right? I'm going to say Hadoop DFS -put temp words. So the first argument is the file or directory which is there on your local file system, and the second option or parameter is the directory which is there on the HDFS. Right, so looks like it has copied. So let's go and do a ls. Okay, so as you can see, there is this words file which is copied to HDFS. Now instead of put, you can also use a command, something called as copy from local, right? I'm going to copy it as words 2. So as you can see, there is no error and it has copied the files into HDFS. Now, so we have seen how to create a directory, how to push files into HDFS. Now let's see how to get files from HDFS. Right. I'm going to use a command called get. So first option is the HDFS location and the file name or the directory, and this last option is the path or the file name or the local file system. So again, instead of -get, you can also use something as copy to local. So let's see what where the file is copied words to. Right. So this is a file which is copied from HDFS to local file or local file system. So instead of get, you can also say copy to local, right? So this will also work. So let's see how to check the contents from of HDFS file location directly without copying. So you can use a commands called -cat and the file path in HDFS. Right, so here you can see it's reading the file from distributed file system and printing the output. So let's move ahead and see some other commands. So if you want to move or copy the file in HDFS, you can use -copy command. I'll say words 3. Or instead of copy, if you want to move the file within HDFS, you can use -mv command to move it. So let's go back and check what are the files that have been created. Right, so here we have 3 files copied, one from a copy operation, one from put, another from copy from local. Now let's see how to remove a file. So I want to remove words 3 and I'm going to use -rm. Again, instead of cat command, you can also say Hadoop fs-text, so which is going to take the source file and output the file in text format, right? So you can also have a zip within HDFS, and with text command you can try to print that into human readable format, right? So here it says move this file to trash with the trash of HDFS. So this is not your local trash, right? And you can basically use -expunge, right? -expunge to just empty the trash of HDFS. Right, so it says deleted trash checkpoint, and it has created a new trash checkpoint. So you may also have requirements to create zero size files during your testing, which can be achieved with -touch z command. Right, so I'm just trying to create a zero size length file in HDFS. So this is going to return 0 on success and -1 on error. So similarly, you can execute operations like chgroup. So let's quickly see. Okay, so this is zero length file that's been created. So similarly, you can also do chgroup, chgrp. Let's say you have HD user and the group is HD user, let's assume, and you want to change the group of this directory to HD user. You can do this, right? Or if you want to do change ownership, you can do change ownership. And you can say -r, right? And this is a command for that. So let's see what's the disk utilization of this particular directory on HDFS, right? Which can be done by -du. Or you can also use -dus to print the summary of file links. Right, so here you can see the lengths of that, or you can also use -dus to give a complete summary. Okay, so looks like this command is deprecated, and you should use -du-s option. Right, so this is a total size of the files existing in examples location. So let's see what are the other options available quickly, just to make sure that we covered most of the important HDFS operations or commands. Okay, so we have covered till rm, and I'm going to show rm remove directory probably after we check another couple of commands. So there's something called as set rep, This is nothing but to set or modify the replication factor for a given file or the files in a given directory, right? I can say Hadoop DFS hyphen set replication factor hyphen W. Let's say I want to set the replication factor to 2 hyphen R. I'm going to say examples. So this is going to take some time depending on number of files or number of directories on which you have executed this command. So make sure that you don't execute this command on production scenarios, right? Because generally replication factor is something that is set by your Hadoop administrator um, through the configuration file, and you don't want to check this or modify this. Okay, so it has not returned any error. Let me try it on a single file. So here you can see it is trying to set the replication factor to 2 for this file called words. So depending on the size of your entire cluster, depending on the number of files or the directories your admin, it might take a few hours to complete commands based on how your administrator has executed it, right? Basically number of files and the number of directories on which this has been executed. But please note that do not execute this command on production. So by default, if you have set up your Hadoop on a single node, that means if you are using one node as master and slave node, by default you're going to have a replication factor of 1. So if you have at least 2-3 nodes with a separate master, then you can set the replication factor to 3. So let me cancel this command because this is going to take some time, right? So let me show some other options. So one more example is there's something called as stat. So it's going to return the stats or information on the particular path from HDFS. And again, there are commands like hyphen tail. If you know that there is some logs being created or some file being updated in HDFS, you can just tail that. So you can see that there's a creation date and the creation of that particular directory returned by stat command, right? So if you have some logs or application logs that are written to HDFS, you can just say let's say words. So it's going to read that, tail that, and print that output. So let me quickly see what other commands are pending. Okay, so we have covered most of the commands, right? So I hope this will get you started on your big data journey. Thanks for watching my video.